Hey, Shapeworks here with my January 1st, 2014 Fire King deck build, version 1. Maybe there will be more, I'm not sure honestly. I just finished building this off of the budget build I made. Honestly, I still think Fire Kings have that strong potential that they did last format. There were a few people that I heard of that went to YCS in a regional, got in the top 10 of a YCS and the first place of a regional. So I feel like this coming up format, Vikings will do a lot more because they still don't have anything to really fear. And there's not really any card that you could side in to prevent them from doing anything, because the whole Gurnik special summoning thing, that's an optional choice. The deck doesn't really need it, but it just helps the deck run along. So Vanity's Emptiness hurts the deck, yes, but doesn't need it. It doesn't need to special summon. So with Tenki being at 3 again, that gives this deck even more power and more sorry about that. Stability with its consistency. So this is my deck here. Still the 2 Granics. Still do 2 Granics instead of the 3 because 3 is just too much. Gets stuck in the hand. And yeah, just 2 Granics. I added in the Secret Phoenix because I have been running into a lot of back row trouble lately, and I was just testing on Dueling Network, and a lot of decks have been running a lot more back row. And there's also going to be TGs are coming back. I ran into at least 10 of those decks on DN, and I talked to all of them, and they all said that they're doing fine. So there's a big strong chance that TGs may come back, which is scary, but anyway, I put him in here mainly because of that problem. So 1 Sacred Phoenix, all you really need. And I took out the other blaster mainly because of the obvious, which is blasters put down to 1. So 1 blaster still needed and liked in this deck. And the 3 Yaksha. 3 Yaksha. The 3 Brong, he's your searcher whenever he's destroyed by a card effect. You get to add a Fire King card from your deck to your hand during the next standby phase, so need 3 of him. And since Tenki went back to 3, I figured, hey, why not add more consistency and add 3 Bear? Because everybody loves Bear. He's good at controlling, he's good at destroying a monster that you need to be destroyed, kind of like, say like your opponent has Evil Soren Opion, and you want to bring out your Garunix, or your Blaster, or your Sacred Phoenix. You would summon Bear, pop Tenki, destroy that, and do all that. It's the obvious move. So 3 Bear, 2 Wolf Bark. All you really need is 2 Wolf Bark. The 3rd would help, yes, but in this build I prefer just 2. I also added in a Flamethrower Fire Dog to add even more consistency to the deck, since the deck has naturally 6 targets, which is 3 Yaksha and the 3 Barong. So Flamethrower Fire Dog, more consistency, more fun. And that's it for my monster lineup. My spell lineup would be the 2 on side of the Fire Kings. I still like how I only run 2 because the 3rd, don't really need it. It helps, yes, in some builds, but mainly you only need 2. 2 is good enough. 3 Circle of the Fire Kings, it's your it's your Monster Reborn for fire monsters. Plus, since it also um, yeah, you get to use your Yaksha, your Brawn, your Sacred Phoenix, your pretty much just makes the entire deck work. Plus, it's a Monster Reborn, so yeah, 3 Circle the Fire Kings. And the 3 Tenki. Self-explanatory. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons staples. I also added in a Tensu to add in that extra normal summon, so get to exceed more, get to explode even more, so yeah, more fun. Book of Moon, Foolish Burial. I added in Foolish Burial because, say like you start out with, what's the card? with a wolf bark in your hand, and that's all you had to go off of, and the rest is like spells and traps, and you couldn't really do anything else. So if you just play Foolish Burial, put a level 4 in your graveyard, my strategy for that would be to put a Brong in the graveyard, then Wolfbark effect, Brong, and overlaying. Yeah, that's my normal strategy with Foolish Burial, and that's why I like it. So, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Dark Hole. And that's it for my spells. My traps, which are 3 the Call of the Haunted. I like the 3 Call of the Haunted because it's another Monster Reborn, and the funny thing about Vikings is that they could use 6 Monster Reborns, 3 the Call of the Haunted, and 3 Circles of the Viking. I think that's just hilarious that Vikings have that ability and make the deck even more dangerous. How Call the Haunted is really more overpowered in this deck is by, say like somebody targets your face down Call the Haunted with an Mystical Space Typhoon or anything to destroy this set Call the Haunted. You chain Call the Haunted, some Brong, Yaksha, Sacred Phoenix, and the Fire Kings. They would get summoned, they would get destroyed by the Call of the Haunted effects, and then the next standby phase, you get their effect. So 3 Call of the Haunted makes the deck really tricky. So yeah, 3 Call of the Haunted. 2-dimensional prison. Oh yeah. I know Fire Kings don't really use traps that much. Matter of fact, I heard that they aren't supposed to use traps. I wonder why not. The traps work fantastically in Fire Kings. I know like having the Sacred Phoenix in here kind of contradicts the whole setting of spells and traps, but most of the time I rather blow up my own field to get rid of my opponent's back row so I could blow up more. So, plus these are all cards that either get stuck on the field, like Call the Haunted, yeah. I would overlay with it. Or if I use 2 to 3 Call the Haunted and I use all 3 of my monsters to use them for 1 overlay. Those 3 Call the Hunters are then trapped on the field, and my opponent's not going to MST my face-up Call the Hunters that aren't attached to anything, so Sacred Phoenix clears off my field and clears off his, so I still feel like Fire Kings are still even better with traps. But anyway, back on to my trap lineup. 2 Phoenix Chain. Everybody knows what Phoenix Chain does. 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential Tribute. I really wish they put Torrential Tribute back to 2 like everybody was thinking, but it would have made Fire Kings too much and too overpowered, more than it already is, so just 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Warning, and 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. And that's my main deck. I also have an extra deck and a side deck. And yeah, so extra deck. 2 Tiger King, 2 Lava Chain, 1 number 44 Pegasus. I mainly have it in here just as filler as the 15th card, but sometimes I get to get it off, or you get to use its effect. If nobody knows what its effect is, it's once per turn you can detach 1 Exceed Material monster from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and destroy it. Or they can pay 1,000 life points to negate it. But either way, it's just in here for filler, and just for fun. So, just 144 Sky Pegasus. Photon Popularitive? I have no idea. I can't say that, but anyway, Photon, Butterfly, Moth, whatever it is. 1 Gaga Cowboy for that endgame 800. 1 number 91 Thunder Spark Dragon. It's really good. I personally like it. You get to detach 3 Exceed Material monsters and destroy all other face-up monsters on the field. So it's a dark hole that can attack, which I could bring this out a lot, which I only run 1 copy, but if I had more of him, I would probably use him, but excuse me. But yeah, he's just a really good card. Dark hole, field, and attack for 24. 1 Daigusto Emerald. I run him because he's my Pot of Avarice. If I have too many monsters in the graveyard and I have no other monsters in the deck, I would summon him through like Call the Haunted, or combination of Call the Haunted and other cards to get Daigusto Emerald, shuffle it up, shuffle 2 monsters, or is it 3? Oh, it's 3 monsters, and draw 1 card. Yeah, 1 Daigusto Emerald. 1 number 50 Black Ship of Corn. Number 39 Utopia. Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is going to help a lot next format because of Boujins, Plants, Heretics, Chaos Dragons, Lightsworn, and pretty much just every good deck out there. So, Abyss Dweller, definitely needed. Evil Sworn Oberos. He's essentially the Evil Sworn version of... Crap, I forgot. I forgot the card's name, but you guys probably know what he's the Evil Sworn version of. But yeah, he gets to take away a card from opponent's hand, field, or graveyard, but you could only use that effect once. So, 1 of him. And 1 Diamond Direwolf. Pretty much self-explanatory in this deck. And that's the extra deck. I do pretty well with this deck, and I like it, so. But anyway, here's on to the final card stack. My side deck, and what I feel like will be a good side deck next format. 2 Flying Sea, because every deck spans exceeds. Every deck does. So, Flying Sea gets over that. 2 Mind Crush, because a lot of decks add cards from their deck to hands, and you could just get rid of them like that. Like Boujins you could get rid of the crane that they'll add from deck to hand with... what's with me and forgetting cards right now? Yeah, you guys know. Get to add cards from deck to hand, call that card, and get rid of it. So, 2 Mind Crush, that extra Mystical Space Typhoon, Prohibition, just in case if you face Evil Sworns and you don't want Opium, or if you just don't want your opponent to use a specific card, so just 1 Prohibition. 2 Threatening Rars to stop those end games and OTKs. So 2 Threatening Rar. 2 Royal Decrees, because a lot of people are going to be using a lot of back row, and you may be asking yourself, why are you citing roll decrees when you run a large back row? I go like, they're going to either MST it or destroy it somehow. So it's pretty much just for that eventuality that they may destroy it. And the back row that I have, it's 11 cards if you didn't count. I'll take out 2 of the trap cards for this. So it will just be 9 traps. 9 traps, and I'll just work around it. That's just how I do. I like to work around my own side deck cards to hurt my opponent more, so it's going to hurt the opponent more and won't really hurt you, because you rather have your opponents even more stunned than you. So yeah, 2 row decrees. Plus you get to keep the traps in your hand for when they destroy it. So yeah, 2 light imprisoning mirror, because there are going to be a lot of light based decks around next format. So 2 light imprisoning mirrors, 2 iron impaling walls. I know dragons aren't going to be around anymore, other than the heretic and chaos dragons, which chaos dragons, plants, Vujins, zombies, and sorry about that, and a few other rogue decks like to banish all the time, so why not just add in the 2 iron impaling walls just for them. So 2 of that. That was not 15 cards, that was 12 cards. The other 2 cards I wanted to add, which is Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. It does the exact same thing as Light Imprisoning Mirror, just dark. Just affects dark. So Light Imprisoning Mirror, if you don't know, when the effect of a light monster activates on the field or in the graveyard, negate its effect. It does the exact Shadow Imprisoning Mirror does exactly that, just dark. Because Chaos Dragons, zombies, Ghost Tricks, and a bunch of other dark decks, and everything. So yeah, that is my deck and side deck for 2014, for the 2014 ban list. And I may, it's a slight possible chance that I'll be able to go to the Atlanta, Georgia YCS coming in the end of January, which is, if I remember correctly, it's January 31st through February the 1st. I don't know. But anyway, that was my deck lineup. And this is Shapeworks signing out. See ya.